1978, Brother Charles Barry and Brother Michael Vella left Aitape, where they had been teaching, to commence a high school at Nuku. To travel the 60 kilometres flying trip, they would have passed through this gap in the Torricelli mountain range. When Brothers Charles and Michael arrived at the site for the school, it was nothing but dense tropical jungle. In only 4 years, they converted the jungle into what you see now. The school lies in a small valley with a fair-sized river. The school is surrounded by hills covered in near impenetrable jungle. The name of this area is Walamu, which is a word from a local language meaning a place of trees and dogs. Except for the wood used in these buildings, all the materials had to be brought from the coastal town of Wewak. To travel from Wewak to St. Francis High School is at least a 6-hour trip by road. It can sometimes take 12 hours. It depends on the weather. So you can appreciate that the obtaining of materials is no small task in itself. This is the station of Nuku. To travel from Nuku to the school takes 25 minutes on dry days. There you can see the mission station of Wati, where the school chaplain of St. Francis lives. Fasten your seatbelts now as we come in for our landing. This is the plane we have been travelling in, and it belongs to the Aitape mission. There's our mission pilot. Thanks, Michael. Some students from St. Francis have come to meet the mission plane to get fuel, and there you can see them proudly wearing their school t-shirts. We are still on the airstrip, looking north, and you can now see the complex housing the police station, the post office, the bank, and the office of the district officer. On the eastern bank of the airstrip, we have Nuku's jail. And across the way, you can see a village. These are the solar panels which power the telephone exchange in Nuku. The airstrip we are still standing on is a government one, but it is maintained by St. Francis High School. Half the school will come out here every 4th week on a Saturday and spend all day mowing and raking it. They cut the grass with a slasher and with their grass knives. Then they will rake it all up. They are paid for this work by the government, and it is a steady source of revenue for the school. The two boys are looking towards the east, and in the distance you can see a rather high hill. St. Francis is down in the valley just before this hill. Brother David, who came to St. Francis in 1984, is now helping the boys load the fuel onto the cruiser. He says it's time to be on our way, but we are going to have a short tour of Nuku first. The building that just whizzed past is the convent, and it has 2 sisters living in it. Then we have the priest house, but there is no priest. There we have the roof of the mission primary school, or community school as they are called in Papua New Guinea. The blue building in the distance is the Nuku trade store. Here we have the Nuku church. As I said, there is no priest permanently based in Nuku, and so most of the services are run by the sisters. Here we have the trade store again. In Nuku there are only 2 shops. We are now approaching the Nuku Hospital. This sign belongs to the hospital. It's inspiring, isn't it? The buildings you see here are the hospital. It hasn't a doctor. The nearest doctor by road is 3 hours away. Now we are on the final leg of our journey to St. Francis. On the way we meet one of the local women carrying her load of firewood and taking a break to light her cigar. In Papua New Guinea they have a most appropriate expression for this type of road, and that is road belong pig, which needs no translation. If you are a 4-wheel drive enthusiast, you will love this section of our trip. Fortunately, the road is in pretty good condition at the moment. Sit back and enjoy the ride while I tell you something of the history of St. Francis High School. In 1968, the first 2 Patrician Brothers came to Papua New Guinea to teach at the high school at Aitape. One of the 2 brothers was Brother Charles Barry. Before coming to Aitape, Brother Charles had been the headmaster of Fairfield for 2 years. Then, in 1970, he became the headmaster of St. Ignatius. In 1976, Brother Michael Vella came to teach at Aitape. As early as 1974, the Nuku Local Government Council had asked the Aitape Catholic Mission to open a high school in its area. In 1977, a site was chosen for the school and some local people started to make preliminary preparations of the site. At the beginning of 1978, Brother Charles and Michael arrived at the site along with 88 students who were to make up the first grade 7. 4 bush material classrooms had already been built, so classes could start straight away. But apart from having normal classes to teach, 30 hectares of land had to be cleared of dense jungle, and buildings had to be constructed. The first grade 10 graduated at the end of 1981. The school population had grown to 250 students and all the school buildings had been completed. After 25 minutes of travelling from Nuku Station, we arrived at the entrance of the school. We now face a kilometre-long private road down to the school itself. I didn't take any footage of the trip down for the benefit of the faint-hearted. St. Francis High School is a Monday to Friday boarding school. The students go home on weekends. For some of them, that means walking 6 hours. The school is co-educational and has 250 students in it. There are 6 classes going from Year 7 to Year 10. Everything you see below was built by the carpenters, students and teachers of the school, under the guiding hands of Brother Charles and Michael. Here we have the kitchens of the boys. And next to that, we have the long building, which is the boys' dormitories. There we have the classrooms on the left, and then on the right we have the library and staff room and basketball court. In the centre there we have another classroom and the science laboratories, and then we have the mechanics workshop. Across the way we have the girls' area. The girls' area contains the girls' dormitories, the building on the right, And over on the left, behind all those trees, is the kitchen. Up the back is the girls' home economics building, and on the side of the hill we have some teachers' houses. Down below we see the school farm. Also there, the long iron roof is a part of the building that they have built for the pastoral centre. The orangey building, or the orangey roof, is the roof of the school church. There we see the roofs of the carpenters' houses, and we move across now to the brothers' house. There are some more of the teachers' houses. Teachers' houses built by the school, and the teachers rent them from the school. There we have a plantation of the school where they grow coconuts. And we're moving back across now to the playing fields. There's enough room there for 2 soccer ovals, and there's also a Aussie rule oval there too. And you can see the posts. The black dots over there on the right are some chickens keeping down the grass. And of course we have the river which flows past the school. As you can see, the school itself is low down in the valley, surrounded by hills and dense jungle. You have just heard the students and teachers sing the Papua New Guinean national anthem and raise the national and provincial flags. This is done every Monday to start the school week. Also on Mondays, there is a general assembly of the school, which lasts for about 15 minutes. During this assembly, any teacher who has an announcement to make or something to say addresses the school. Announcements may deal with such things as work projects to take place over the week, where students can or cannot get their firewood for the week, lost and found, lost and not found, welcoming guests to the school, arrangements for mass and prayer services. There we have the road that we came into the school, and we have some teachers' houses. Another teacher's house. There we have the mechanics workshop, and some students trying to start some tractors for the day's work. There we have the staff room behind the big tractor on the right, and the basketball court. There's Brother Michael Vella trying to get that tractor started. And we move around there to the church, then back to the road that leads up to the school's entrance. The church chapel, the school chapel, was built in 1979. The painting behind the altar and the crucifix were done by local craftsmen. The school is fortunate in having Father Colin Kenway, the Franciscan, as its chaplain. When Father Colin is not able to get to the school for Mass because of the roads being made treacherous in wet weather, one of the teachers leads the school in a communion service. Also, every weekday night, a paraliturgy is held in the chapel for any students who wish to attend. We're now in the quadrangle, and there we see the school basketball court again, staff room, deputy and headmaster's offices, school library, one of the grade 7 classrooms next to the science laboratory, and then a long building which contains other classes of grade 7, 8 and 9 and 10. As you can see, no walls and windows there. And then we have the boys' dormitories. Again, here we have the boys' dormitories, and all the beds are double-deckers, and the boys sleep on wood for mattresses. Behind the boys' dormitories, we have the boys' kitchens. There is one large cooking area, but there are also little cubicles for cooking. Boys from the same village use the same cubicle. As you can see, each cubicle has a fireplace, a cupboard, and a few benches. Whilst there is a river running past the school, this is not really suitable for consumption, unless you want to get consumption. So water for cooking and drinking has to be caught from the rain and stored in wells such as this. To run a school such as St. Francis, you need plenty of machinery. You need tractors for farming, carting logs and cutting ovals, pumps for your water supply, vehicles for transporting goods and people, a generator for power, and many other bits and pieces. St. Francis is extremely isolated and must be able to run its own machinery and repair it when it breaks down. This is the school's generator, and they have power only from 6:30 through to 9:30 every night. This is the girls' area, and here we have the girls' dormitories. Up the top there we have the girls' home economics building, home economics being one of their school subjects. There we have the girls' cooking area, all enclosed. Inside we see again cupboards and benches and cooking areas. And there we have a couple of girls who are sick and unable to attend class. Still in the girls' area, just having a look around. Teacher's house there, and having a look at the jungle, the dense jungle behind the school or around the school. This picturesque scene belongs to the school farm, which is next to the chapel. The farm is made up of some chickens and geese. They're not here really as a source of food, but as a part of the school subject of agriculture. By caring for these animals, the students obtain some idea of what is involved in raising them. The school playing field is directly behind the boys' dormitories, and as I said, it is big enough to play 2 games of soccer on, when it is not flooded by the river. In the distance there, you can see the school's sawmill. And above the sawmill is a building built by the school for the pastoral activities of the Nuku area. That's one of the locals. Coming up from the playing fields and next to the farm, we have another building built by the school for pastoral activities. Up further, we have the houses of the school's carpenters. There is always work for the carpenters, and so they live full time at the school. Further up again, we have the brothers' house. Inside, there are 3 bedrooms, a small chapel, a general living area, and the kitchen and toilets are outside. Next to the brothers' house is the classroom for practical skills. We are now inside the staff room and the teachers are taking their morning tea break. With 250 students, the school is allowed 9 teachers. 3 are female teachers and 6 male teachers. 3 teachers are from overseas and the other 6 are Papua New Guineans.
Trying to make in the village.
Credit and money.
And money? Will it want to make a profit too? Yes. Oh yes. Okay, so market will also want to make a profit. Alright, how about department stores?
Okay.
That was Mr. Peter Coburn, the acting headmaster of the school in Brother Charles's absence, taking the grade 7 golds for commerce. Going to school in PNG is not compulsory, so anyone going to school is there because he or she wants to go. This means that students usually have a very positive attitude to their classwork. The students here at Walamu can usually speak 3 languages: the language of their own village, Pidgin English, and English. This makes it very difficult for them to learn and study in a foreign language. English is the language used in teaching. Students here in Walamu study much the same subjects as they study in any school in any country. The subjects are English, science, maths, social science, agriculture, home economics, woodwork, physical education, and as it is a mission school, there is also religion. To come to St. Francis, all the grade 6 students from the Nuku district sat for an external exam, and only the top third to a half are selected. The others join their parents back in the village in their subsistence farming. This high school selection system is national policy. From those chosen to go to high school, there is another selection process at the end of grade 8. Here, 2/3 of the brightest students go on to grade 10. This is a hard process because there are many good students who have to go home. At the end of grade 10, the students sit for a national exam. In this exam, the students of Walamu have to compete with students all over the country. Before the grade 10 exams, the students select 5 courses they would like to do after grade 10. They may select going to technical college, teachers college, grade 11 and 12, or any of the other courses offered. These selections are sent to Port Moresby. Students are then selected for these courses by representatives from each tertiary institute. They are selected according to their results in the external exam and by the references written by their headmasters. In 1975, Papua New Guinea gained its independence from Australia, and you will see many people wearing this t-shirt, a t-shirt celebrating Papua New Guinea's 10th anniversary of independence. Here we have the river that runs past the school. The presence of this river was perhaps the main reason why the school was built at Walamu. A few other sites for the school were considered, but Brother Charles knew the importance of a river and decided on this locality. The water of the river is clear and cool during the dry months, but during the wet season it can turn into quite a torrent of muddy water. A few years ago, the river flooded and covered the ovals to knee-deep. But flooding is rare, and the benefits of the river far outweigh any disadvantages. As we said before, all the water for cooking and drinking is obtained from the rainwater stored in tanks. The river provides the water for everything else. Water for the washing of cooking utensils, such as rice boilers. Water for washing of the students' dinner plates. Water for the washing of clothes. And water for the washing of bodies. The river is also a great place just to relax in. The school has a swimming carnival every year, and the river is the Olympic pool for that. As the school is surrounded by jungle, there is a great supply of wood for the school's sawmill. Here we have Mr. Peter and some of the students preparing a log to be taken to the mill. While Mr. Peter is working away with the log, some students are working in their agricultural gardens, which are located on the other side of the river from the school. In these gardens, the students grow such things as pineapples, taro and cacao. which is a sweet potato. As the number of students increases, extensions have to be made to buildings. Here we have the girls' dormitories being extended. When there is some cementing to be done, students are at hand to help, and they help willingly. Actually, some students like nothing better than to spend the afternoon mixing cement. As you can see, under the guiding hand of Brother David, things are very organised, with everyone being allotted tasks. With all these students helping, they will have this floor laid in one afternoon. After this cementing job is finished, they will have some more cementing to do over at the boys' dormitories, where there is a well being made. Here's the log that Mr. Peter and the students were working on before. The tractor is taking it across the river to the sawmill. There, the school's sawmiller, Brother Michael, will turn it into timber. You may notice that the driver of the tractor is one of the students. This student is in grade 8 and he is the most competent driver. All the driving of tractors is done by a few selected students from grade 8. They drive for a year and then teach some other students to drive. Here we have some students working in the scale house where all the school's food is kept. When you have to feed 250 students every day, you need quite a lot of food. Back at the river, a little upstream from the school, we have Brother Michael and some students lifting a log onto a tractor to be taken to the sawmill. This log would have been washed down in the last flood. Well, here's the sawmill in action, with Brother Michael at the helm. As I said a while back, the school provides all its own timber, and this sawmill makes this possible. Within an hour, a log is turned into timber, ready to be used for any construction. There is no doubt that this self-sufficiency in timber has enabled the school to keep its head above financial waters. But the timber cut here is not just used at St. Francis. The school's carpenters and students have used the timber for the building of many constructions throughout the Nuku district. Over the years, the school has been responsible for the building of a primary school, 2 pastoral centres, houses for teachers at other schools, a church, and a few other little projects. The school is, in this way, very involved with the upgrading of the facilities throughout the district of Nuku. You will see that Brother Michael and his crew stand well behind the saw. It's really the only safe place to stand. Moments before this shot was taken, the film crew for this video were nearly impaled by a length of wood that was catapulted from the log like an arrow from a bow. Brother Michael consoled us by saying that we wouldn't have been killed. Our legs would have just been broken in 1,000 places. The road that leads into the school needs continual maintenance, and here we have the students chipping the road and cutting the grass and cleaning out the drains. These students are working to prepare the ground for a well at the end of the boys' dormitories. As you can see, the girls work alongside the boys. There is definitely no discrimination between the sexes when it comes to good, hard manual labour. After school, there is medical parade. With 250 energetic students, there are bound to be quite a few cuts and bruises to be treated daily. Apart from cuts and bruises, students will often come in sick with malaria. 2 common skin complaints are greeley and scabies. Greeley can sometimes cover the whole body and is something like peeling skin after severe sunburn. Scabies is caused by little ticks under the skin, which cause the skin to break out in sores. Schools in Australia have been generous over the years in sending money to St. Francis for the buying of medical supplies. The school is very grateful for this generosity and would like to thank all those students who have contributed money to make this medication of students possible. These boys are preparing the afternoon meal. The boys cook for the boys and the girls cook for the girls. Meals are usually made up of cow or taro, which are both similar to potato. The students also have boiled rice and tinned fish. The food is cooked here and then shared out into the students' plates. When the food is ready, the students then come and get their plates and retire to a nice comfortable place to enjoy their dinner. As we have said quite a few times before, the school is in many ways self-sufficient. It has to be. And here we see another example of this self-sufficiency with Jerry, one of the carpenters, welding some broken chairs back together again.
John, can you tell us something about yourself?
My name is John. I am 16 years of age, and I'm in grade 9 at the moment. I come from a place called St.
What do you like to do here at St. Francis?
I like to watch video, exchange stories with other people, and also collecting stamps and reading during my spare time.
You're a grade 10 student. What do you hope to do at the end of grade 10?
I hope to be a teacher. However, I may not, if I am not successful in that, then I will become a chicken farmer. I have started my small project, got some chickens from different places, and I hope they will multiply.
Okay. Amelda, can you tell us something about yourself?
My name is Imelda Warangwai, and I'm age of 18. I am doing grade 8, and also I'm a prefect. I come from Yangoro in the East Sepik province, but now I'm living on the border of Eastern Sepik at Warakita.
And Amelda, how far is that from St. Francis?
It's about 5 hours walking from distance.
And how many in your family?
I'm the eldest of the 10 children.
And what sort of things do the girls do here at St. Francis?
The girls do much as the boys, except the home economics.
And what sort of things do you like to do yourself?
I like smelting, telling stories with friends, and playing basketball.
Anton, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Anton Masikaba. I am 18 years old. I am a prefect in the school. I am currently doing grade 10. I come from a place, a village called Swa, which is about 6 kilometers from the school and about 2 hours walking distance.
And Anton, can you tell us something about your village?
My village is made up of 3 hamlets or 3 little smaller villages. There are about 250 people in our village.
And what sort of things would you be doing now if you were back in your village?
If I go back to my village, I mostly, after leaving school ladies holiday, I usually go and then spend much of my time in gardening. That is growing peanuts, corn, watermelon, and taro.
And is there anything else you like to do in the village?
I like diving for fish in the river. And also, I look after my grandfather, who is very sick.
Perhaps you'd like to say something to us in your own language.
Yes. Kumari like video on the St. Francis.
Anichua, video St. Francis, which I have a kirifiba.
Meeting by play ang matlulubing video blog St. Francis.
Papua New Guinean students are no different from students in any country, and sport is something that they very much enjoy. Here at St. Francis, they play a variety of organised sports, or can be seen just kicking a soccer ball about, or involved in a casual game of basketball during their spare moments. Organised sport, which is generally held on Tuesday after school, is conducted on a competitive 4-house or team basis. Whawi, Nombi, Umban and Dai Dai, words from 4 of the local languages for a unique bird seen in this area, are the chosen names for the house teams. As most students do not know their ages, and there can be quite a variation in both age and size within a form, the students are graded into their respective division solely on height. On the occasion when their inter-class games are held, it is not uncommon to see a grade 7 tower over a grade 9. Soccer is the most popular game with the boys, while the girls seem to prefer basketball. Other games played include volleyball, softball, Aussie rules and hockey. For hockey, they generally manage to fashion a suitable stick gathered from the bush. Touch football, and particularly flag footy, a variation on touch football, are 2 new sports that have proved popular among the boys. The girls have been introduced to netball. In recent weeks, with the acquisition of 2 sets of Kanga cricket sets from Australia, the mysteries of the time-honoured game of cricket are about to be introduced to the locals. Somehow, I can't envisage the local coming to grips with the subtleties of bowling or offering a straight defensive bat. Highlights of the sporting calendar are the athletic and swimming carnivals. The students compete with great determination, particularly in the athletics. The school is fortunate in having a river passing through its boundaries, so when the river is running at a suitable depth, a carnival can be held. A standard race being across the river and back. The emphasis for such a day is fun. What they may lack in style is more than compensated for with enthusiasm. Because of the geography and climate of PNG, it is very difficult to hold inter-school sports on a regular basis. However, it has been traditional for our grade 8s to travel to Lumi High School each year to play them in a variety of sports. The trip to Lumi, a distance of about 100 kilometres, is made in the back of a Mitsubishi truck belonging to the school. As the vast majority of our students have never been out of the Nuku area, such a trip is eagerly awaited. When many of the students come to St. Francis at the beginning of the year, they are wearing all the clothes that they own. It is not uncommon for a student to turn up at the school in a pair of old and torn shorts, and that is all that he has. Parents of these students just have no money. 95% of the students at St. Francis come from homes where money is a non-entity. If money is available, then food is the first priority, then schooling, and then clothing. It is no exaggeration to say that there are few things which cause more excitement within the school than the arrival of clothes from schools in Australia. For these kids, it is just like Christmas. When bales of clothing arrive, it has to be given out quickly, otherwise the students will find it hard to concentrate on their classes. A very loud and sincere thank you is sent to all those students, parents and teachers who have been so very generous in sending the school clothing over the years. Being unloaded into the scale house. This amount should last a couple of weeks. Every Wednesday morning before school starts, quite a few local people come to the school to sell their produce to the students and teachers. They come with bananas, taro, betel nut, a grub which is roasted, and sometimes even a possum. Those bags you see there are their belums, and you might have noticed some straps, and those straps they put around their heads, carry them using their heads. And there we can see some of the produce, some sugar cane, and some coconuts and some taro. Come around now to a gentleman who has caught a possum, or couscous as they're called in this country, and he will sell that for about 6 kina, which is about $8 Australian. Not only do they eat the meat, but the fur of the animal is also highly prized. If you walk along the roads of Nuku or anywhere in Papua New Guinea, it's not unusual to see a lady smoking a pipe. And the piece of wood you see in her right hand is her fire stick, and they don't carry matches or lighters around with them. They have this piece of wood always burning, and they can use it to light their fires or light their pipes. We have now come to the end of our short stay at St. Francis High School, and we hope that you have found it both interesting and enjoyable, and that one day you may make the trip yourself to Walamu and see it all for yourself.